Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to Eventomobile's webinar on event apps and beacons and the 5 lessons for success. On behalf of Eventomobile, we would like to thank you very much for taking out time from your precious morning and joining us today. We will run through a quick presentation and I will talk about how we are deploying beacons at a lot of different events and also some of the other case studies that we have seen on beacons deployed at other very successful events. We will talk you through, what exactly a beacon is, what is the technology and science behind a beacon a little bit, not any rocket science technology conversation, just a basic understanding of how the beacons work. And then we will also talk about, lessons for success, how you can deploy the beacons, what is going to be the right successful uh, process of deploying these beacons, and basically just focus on these things and, help you transform your events and make them better. So anytime you have a question, you can use the raise your hand feature on the GoToMeeting control panel, on the GoToWebinar control panel. At the end of the session, we will open the floor and unmute everybody so that anybody can ask questions whenever they have. And we will respond as many questions as possible. So before I get going, I would like to thank you again and just check if anybody has any questions before I get started. So we're going to begin with the broadcast now, and I'm just going to go full screen on my presentation. Great. So a quick introduction about me. My name is Varun. I have been with Eventomobile for almost 6 years now. We've been working on the event app technology all through my tenure at Eventomobile. I've been very focused on large enterprise clients. I work with a lot of the largest clients that we're serving, the likes of Wells Fargo, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as Charles Schwab and the likes of McKinsey. And what my real role is to, really understand what you guys are doing at your events right now and bring in our product and see which features can enhance your current product or my client's current product. And I work very closely with my clients and my technology team to, get real-time feedback from, clients who are working directly with attendees to understand how we can provide more features, how we can enhance our mobile app. And this is pretty much my goal is to satisfy the client's requirements, make sure that the product is progressing, and get as many new features into our product, as many new technology features, whatever is around in the market, to do more technology research. I've been a mobile evangelist for a long time. I've spoken at a few events as well. So that's enough about me, and we're going to move forward. So what we've seen in the latest trend in marketing is that if content is king, the context is emperor. What does this really mean? It means that no matter how great your content is, but if it is not in context with what I'm looking for, it's meaningless for me. If as a customer, I'm looking for shoes and you're marketing your t-shirts to me, I don't care how awesome your t-shirts are. I am looking for a shoe. So it makes absolutely no sense for me to even look at your products anymore because I feel like these guys don't even understand what I'm looking for. I search for a shoe and they're marketing t-shirts to me. So as long as people get to know what they're looking for, as long as it's relevant, as long as it's contextual, it makes your marketing campaign that much more powerful. And what does a beacon do in that respect? So what is exactly a beacon? Beacons are like very small tools, like they look like something the Flintstones used in their time. They're like tiny pebble kind of tools that have a Bluetooth energy emitter built inside them. So it's a very low energy Bluetooth signal that's built inside this small device, which you can place anywhere at your event floor, inside a session, in a trade show, in a booth, or anywhere. And what this does is it tracks all the devices who've got the Bluetooth turned on. So it kind of connects automatically with any mobile device that has its Bluetooth turned on, and it can then start sending whatever messages you as an event organizer want to send to all those devices that are connected to these beacons. So beacons are compatible with apps like Eventomobile. They detect signals and receive notification. iBeacon basically is a trademark of Apple. Apple innovated, Apple developed the beacon technology, which is now available for all iPhone, iOS devices, as well as all Android devices since version 4.3. So how do they work? So as I said, beacons track all the devices based on proximity. So if you're within the range of the beacon, and the range of the beacon again can be set manually from the CMS of the event app. We have a very robust CMS in Evento Mobile, which is very focused on the beacon technology. And it lets you set this range of a beacon. So the range of a beacon can be set anywhere between 1 meters to 50 meters. What this will do is, depending on the range that you've set, let's say you've set a range of 5 meters. So any device that has its Bluetooth turned on and is within a 5 meters radius of that specific beacon will now start receiving messages that you're sending via the beacon. And these could be any people, you don't even know them, but they're just in that location, which means it's contextual because you're sending them messages relevant to where they are, what they're doing at that point of time. So as you can see, with the proximity, you can even change the type of messages that are going on. So if the person is like 2 meters from the beacon, they can get, like, say it's placed in a exhibitor's booth, and you're like 2 meters from the booth of an exhibitor, or like say 1 meter away from the booth of an exhibitor, and you've been there for like 10 seconds now. So even those kind of rules can be set up from the backend so people don't get unnecessarily bombarded with like messages. But say you're around the exhibitor's booth for about 10 seconds now, and you're at a 1 meter proximity with that booth, you can get a more customized message like looking for a data management software, enter our booth, or come to our booth to get a free portfolio done, or get a free whatever. So that can be a message that is absolutely close to the booth when you're like right there. If you're like a little away and the beacon tracks that, okay, this guy is about 5 to 10 meters away, or say 20 meters away, it can send a message like, looking for data management software, you're X amount of steps away from this booth. Please come to us. So, you can even modulate the kind of messages people are getting based on the distance that they are from that booth. So it's a huge tool for exhibitors and sponsors to be able to attract audience that didn't know that they're there, or get them, sponsored messages. It adds that much more, exposure to them for sponsoring at your show, and a huge tool for them to get their name out and their product out, and get people who are more relevant attracted to their booth, because usually exhibit halls are defined by, different sections. So if a person is walking around, say, a mobility section, and I'm at a technology conference, and if a person is walking around a mobility section, I already know that this person is relevant to me because I'm exhibiting about mobile products or mobile solutions. Now, if we can send him a message about my products, he's already looking and shopping for something similar. He or she will then might find it more relevant to just come into my booth. So that makes it all the more relevant, more contextual, and more interesting even for the attendees to receive that message. So not just that, there's also various other messages, like you can send a welcome message when a person enters the booth, just to personalize their experience, make them feel good. Hi, John. Welcome to the show. Extract Pro. You can have their name on that message. That just makes that person feel that much more special. Wow, that's something that never happened before. I've just stepped in and I'm getting a welcome message. And if a person is like kind of looking for the door, and they can even get a push notification, the door is like on the right hand side, like 2 feet away from you, something like that. So popularity of beacons is a pretty amazing thing. We are deploying it at some of the largest events that we do for our clients. They've been used at some of the largest global events, like the Wimbledon Championships, the South by Southwest. I recently read that even the London Bus Company is actually deploying beacons so that marketers can send out personalized messages to people who are sitting in the bus. Now, how cool is that? Or how uncool is that? We'll find that out later. But you can be sitting in a bus and you can actually get a message from a marketer, who's trying to market his product and stuff like that. So, really, really cool innovations are happening around the beacons. One feature that I forgot to touch upon when we were talking about the different, the things that are done around the beacon is enhancement of event networking. So you can even have features like Around Me. So attendees can see everybody that's around them at a show. They can see people who are in a different room. They can see who's sitting in session A, who's sitting in session B, and then they can go ahead and network with people accordingly. So, so 5 lessons to learn for a successful event. It's a treasure trove of data. Beacon is like an amazing tool for an event organizer who wants real data from their event to improve their events, to get the most out of their events and make sure that they keep performing, they keep improving their events. So, like if you're sending customized event-related notifications like current sessions, flow maps, stall locations, push notifications are always, proximity, automated push notification when a person is in a certain location. And then if you have a huge show floor, like you have like 1,000 exhibitors at your show, iBeacons can help you give the maximum potential of exposure to your exhibitors. Now, how do they do that? With Eventomobile, we have a tool called the Floor Heat Map. And what this does is, in real time, you've got a dashboard where you can actually see the flow of the traffic through your floor. So how this works is people are tracked with a beacon. It shows how many people, it's kind of a heat map, so it will show like which part of the show is really hot. That means like there's a lot of people connected to this specific beacon, a lot of people connected to this area. And then if you see that there is a beacon in one corner of the show where there's a lot of exhibitors, but there's not really a lot of people connected, it's kind of a cold zone, that can help you enhance the experience of those exhibitors by doing something innovative, like moving like a coffee counter or a beverage bar or something like that in that area so that more traffic starts trickling down that road. Now, this is something that could never have happened without something like this in hand, unless you're running around the show floor all the time, which I know event organizers are, but this is also to help you prevent that and focus on some more, important things that you can do while you're organizing the event and not just running around trying to see, okay, which exhibitor is getting traffic and not. Now you can get real-time heat maps and see, okay, these people are actually not getting traffic, and you can monitor that over a period of time that, okay, it wasn't just in the morning, we've seen them like throughout the afternoon, they're not getting in traffic. We have to do something and make this happen so that these people are happy before they leave the event. Uh, I already spoke about, it's people can promote stalls for Beacon instead of using paper. And the impact on batteries for iBeacon is very minimal. So there's a lot of studies that have been done, and a lot of users have tried to figure out whether beacons are really impacting the battery life on the end user's device, and it's not. It's literally just receiving a push notification like you receive any other push notifications, even when you get text messages. So it doesn't really have a very huge effect on your battery life. So as I said, number of attendees visiting a particular stall and session can be determined, and you can see how many people are around that booth, how many people are around that location. You can also analyze attendee behavior. You can see what the flow of the attendees was. Okay, how much time did they spend on the show floor? Which area were they? Then which session did they go to? Or did they just go back? Did they move on to another stall, another booth, or what was the attendee behavioral pattern throughout the show? Those are the kind of things you can determine with the traffic flow using the beacon. And as I said, floor plan analytics, attendee preference, which booths were like actually preferred by the attendees just by themselves, what kind of products were they really looking for. You can literally see that because you're seeing which booths are they walking to. You're getting analytics as to how many people visited the booth, how many people were around the booth, and how engaged were they with the event. You can see how many times they clicked on the notification, how many times they visited the session, how many times they attended a specific speaker session, etc. Another pretty cool feature, which I think is probably the coolest feature, is the enhancement of the event gamification using iBeacon. So we've been doing gamification now for a long time. Gamification for events has evolved. There was a time when we started talking about gamification, and event organizers used to be like, what are you even talking about? Are you talking about playing football at our conference? We don't want to do that. And we were like, no, we're not talking about playing football at a conference. We're actually talking about gamifying your event to improve the attendees' experience, to increase their engagement, and to help you get more relevant data back from the attendees to make them do things that you really want them to do at the event. So, we have multiple gamification modules. We have like automatic scoring for attendees using different features like live polls and voting, surveys, etc. And a really cool feature as a part of our gamification module was the real-time scavenger hunt. How we used to do this earlier was we used to have QR codes placed in different locations of the show floor, and people would scan and find the first QR code. They would get a clue to the next QR code, and it was kind of a tedious process because you have to scan a QR code physically, launch the scanner, wait for it to complete the scan. If there was light falling on the QR code in a discrete angle, it wouldn't complete the scan and stuff like that. And then came the beacons, and it completely transformed the entire treasure hunt, scavenger hunt, functionality when it comes to gamification. So how it worked was now, not only am I getting clues, but I can even see how far exactly I am from a specific milestone on my treasure hunt or my scavenger hunt. How exactly far am I from a beacon? Because the beacon will communicate back to the device, and the device will be able to see, okay, I'm like 2 meters away, I'm like half a meter away, I'm right there. And then they don't have to do anything. When they're there, it automatically scans, recognizes the device, you get that badge, you've done that treasure milestone, and you're on to your next treasure milestone. So it kind of increases the attendees' experience to, taking it to a new level. They can see how far they are, and it is not a feature where they have to actually go and scan something, wait for the scan to go through, and then get the clue. It's instant, it's instantaneous, and it's kind of really cool for them as well, because they're like, what did I do? I didn't even scan anything. How did I get the badge? So it's kind of really, really a cool way for attendees to have fun and win prizes at events. Instant feedback. Now, how does a beacon help with instant feedback? I thought we were just sending messages to people. Absolutely right. But you can send a message to a beacon to attendees sitting in a session that please rate the session. As simple as that. And when they get that push notification, they click on that, it takes them to the ratings page, and they can instantly give a star-based feedback. Earlier you would have like people running around the session when people are leaving. Hey, please fill in this form before you leave the session, or you would send them emails after the event. This is happening while they're at the session. They get a push notification, the phone gets buzzed, they click on that, it takes them to the session rating screen. All they have to do is click on the stars, rate the session, and they're ready to go. So really easy, very simple process. People get a notification from their beacon, they know what to do next, and they can just rate and move forward. Similarly, Q&A, again, the same technology. You send them a message saying that, we have opened the show floor for gamification, for Q&A, and please feel free to ask any questions. Similar way, you send a notification to speakers to rate the session, and then they can go ahead and rate the session using their mobile apps. So then the attendees can ask, we have a full built-in Q&A module within Eventimobile, and with integrating beacons with that, we saw the number of questions that were asked go beyond what we had expected it to be, because people they do a lot of things, but they don't know that there is this feature available to them. They don't know that they can actually go ahead and ask a question. So if a beacon can send a notification saying that, hey, feel free to use the app to ask questions, and then when people click on that notification, they land on the Q&A page. All they have to do is type a question and send it to the speaker. It makes life a lot easier for them, and it makes them realize that, oh, I could do this. I didn't even know that. So that's again what the beacon is doing. It's just sending them a notification, just sending them a message, but it's how you send that message. It's how relevant that is, how contextual that is to what they're doing at that moment in time is what really matters. As I said earlier, networking among attendees, another really cool feature. What we did was we already had the attendee list. We had a lot of ways to discover relevant attendees. We had matchmaking, which allows attendees to create tags and find other attendees with similar tags and who match their profiles. But we took this to another level where we now deploy beacons in different locations at your event, which could be a session or anywhere at the show floor. And what this does is it allows people to see everybody that's around them. You know, you can just, everybody who's connected to the same beacon. As I said, how the beacons work is you can set the proximity for the beacon to be between 1 meter and 50 meters. So say we've set a beacon proximity at 10 meters. So everybody who's in my 10 meters physical radius will now appear in my around me list. And if I want now, I can go ahead and send them a message, connect with them within the app, and start working with them. Another feature is not just finding people that are around you, but if a person has agreed to keep their profile public and make it available to other people, you can even see who's in different rooms of the event. So if you have like a huge event where there's like 20 different sessions going on, 20 different ballrooms, 3 dining rooms, etc., you can now click on a different room and see, okay, who's here, who's there, and you can connect with them accordingly. So if you're planning to go to a dining room, you can already see who's sitting over there. You can connect with them and say, hey, I'm coming to the dining room. Do you want to grab lunch together? Or something like that. We also have some additional modules within Event2Mobile, which is like social wall and photo wall. On the social wall, it can tag exactly where the user was and stuff like that. And this is what the networking module looks like. It kind of shows all the attendees, the matching attendees, and attendees around them. Photo wall is another social module that we have, which allows attendees to take. So what we noticed, like, is that three main things that people do on the app, on an event app, is view the agenda, networking, and social. These are the three biggest features that we saw that people love in from the analytics that we got. So we focused a lot on these features when it came to Event2Mobile. So as I said, in the networking module, it allows users to find attendees and discover attendees who are registered within the app. But not only that, it takes it a step further, and you can find attendees who are like tagged similar to your tag. So you can find attendees based on your preferences, your matches. So you can see who's a 100% match for you, who's a lesser percentage match for you, who's even lesser. And then you can connect with them accordingly and network with them accordingly by sending them messages within the app or sending them even meeting requests from within the app, because we have a meeting module built into Event2Mobile. Similarly, there's a photo wall, which is, again, I think it's a super cool module, which has been one of the most used modules again. It allows attendees to take images, pictures at the event, post it to the app. There's complete moderation available for all these features, for social wall, for photo wall, so that you can moderate what content is being posted to the app. And not only can this content be posted to the app, but you can even broadcast all these things, all the photo wall images into a slideshow on a large screen. So from our back end, you can go ahead and broadcast them to a large screen. Kind of really helps your event become like the next gen. Times people can see, oh, that picture was posted by me. That's a pretty cool picture. And it's already on a large screen at the event. So, it's a bit more fun. People sometimes tend to get bored, and conferences seem to, tag along really long, and people are like, hey, what am I doing here? But adding these fun modules like gamification, social wall, photo wall, can bring in that light atmosphere into that event that can just try to make that event a little more fun for them than just being an educational scenario where they're just attending sessions, off the sessions, and then just taking notes and notes. As I said, a full-fledged social wall is a pretty good feature to have, allow attendees to network, plus position themselves as thought leaders, post relevant content, start new threads by starting a hashtag, etc., and get other users to appreciate that, get likes and comments, and then create full-fledged conversations and threads. Huge collaborative tool to increase event engagement and interactivity amongst attendees. So to wrap it up, like some tips of using beacons at your events. So firstly, do not spam your attendees with constant notifications. That's I think the biggest and the most important tip, and I'm glad that we have it on top, is anyone, you, me, anyone, when I open my personal mailbox and I see a bunch of emails from people that I by mistake visited their website, that's probably one of the most frustrating experience every morning that I have, to just go select all those emails and then just click on delete them. Because you're like, what the hell? I didn't want this. I don't want this on my phone. And the same thing is with beacons. What is going on? Why am I getting these messages? This is not relevant. So be careful, be judicious, be careful as to how many messages are going out from beacon, where are these beacons placed, how those people, what kind of messages are your exhibitors sending out, are people getting bombed. So setting those rules, like, that 20-second rule, or people have to be around this exhibitor for at least 20 seconds before they get a message. Again, rules like the same message should not go to a person for at least 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Like if they come again in the proximity of that beacon within the same 20 minutes or within 30 minutes. And again, these kind of rules really help you control how these messages are going out to people, how they're appreciating, whether they're appreciating. Because, I mean, if people start getting 10s or 20s of same message within 5 minutes, just because they walked across the same part of the show floor, they can start getting frustrated with that. They can start not liking the app. They might even go ahead and delete the app. So you have to be very careful on how you're using the beacons. So it's a very good thing to have different rules around the beacons and make sure that people, they love getting these messages, but let's keep it to that and let them love these messages instead of distracting them and taking them away from what they were doing. As I said, develop multiple variations of each message to avoid repeating the same thing again and again. I don't want to see the same thing. I already saw this. Uh, you can send materials like push notification material, like audios and notes. So if you want to send, like, you're a person's entered the session and you want to deliver like the session presentation only to those people, that is a relevant push notification. That is a relevant beacon content. I just entered the session and now you've delivered a presentation to me. That makes me feel, wow, this is amazing. So these kind of things are really cool to do with a beacon. Always keep spare beacons, good advice. Always keep spare beacons, because at the end of the day, it's a technology, it's a tool, it's a hardware, and anything can stop functioning. So always have additional beacons. And place beacons aesthetically based on the venue and how the venue is designed. And keep batteries for charging beacons, or use USB enabled beacons so that your beacons don't run out of charge. So pretty simple facts. And then some of the success stories for Eventomobile, where our app has been extremely successfully deployed. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the biggest features that they use the apps for was the social media integration. They used external tools like Yammer, so they wanted things to go out to Yammer. They wanted to provide instant updates, news updates, as well as they use a lot of our polling and live Q&A functionality at the annual employee meeting, which happened like a month ago. Similarly, VMware wanted to use image platform for their event so that people can upload pictures from their mobile device and they could create a huge interactive photo wall during their event. Similarly, Singtel, a huge Singapore technology firm, they used Eventomobile, very successfully deployed. And these are some of our additional clients that we work with globally. Eventomobile, just to give you a quick background, is a 7-year-old product. We're one of the largest mobile app providers in the event industry. We work with some of the largest events in the United States, including the likes of John Melinda Gates Foundation, Kinsey & Company, and various other large corporates. And we are releasing new versions of our product literally every 2 weeks. So we have a very aggressive product plan. And we would love to hear from you. If you have any queries, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to raise your hand, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. Let's see if we have any questions. Okay, so I got one question, which is like, how many beacons do you recommend placing on the show floor? So it really depends how large your show is, to be honest. I mean, like, if you have like a few hundred exhibitors, then it depends if all your exhibitors want beacons. They can have. As I said, I would always recommend using beacons judiciously and aesthetically, depending on the size of your show. So what we've seen is usually about 20 to 30 beacons deployed during an event are pretty successful. And then if you have exhibitors who individually want these beacons, then obviously you have to provide it to them. But if not that, then approximately 20 to 30 questions are enough. So I have a question from Steven. Steven, please go ahead. You're on unmuted.
Yeah, I was just curious. Is there a way that beacons, can be used for like, a healthy ROI if I have sponsors or exhibitors? And if so, how would you recommend going about selling that to sponsors?
Great question, Stephen. Appreciate you asking that question. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. So there's a lot of ways to increase ROI during an event using beacons. Obviously, as I said, giving exhibitors the opportunity to send out personalized messages by giving them the opportunity to have beacons in their booths. That's one. You can definitely charge them additional or build it into their sponsor package. Even if you have session sponsors, you can have session-based personalized messages coming from sponsors. So when I enter a session, I can get a sponsored message saying, welcome to the session. The session is sponsored by some so-and-so. And then when you click on that message, it will take you to the sponsor's landing page on the app. And we can track, obviously, using analytics, how many people were actually directed to the sponsor's landing page. Similarly, as I said, exhibitors can send out messages informing people about their products and attracting them to their booth while they're in the same area. And that kind of really enhances the exhibitor's experience. That gives them another tool to bring traffic in, and you can definitely charge them an additional amount. And we've seen a lot of people do that. If you have an overall event sponsor, then at the registration desk, they can get messages from the event sponsor that welcome to XYZ event, uh, sponsored by so and so on. They can click on that, etc. So those are some of the sponsor ROI related modules that can be deployed using beacons.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody has any other questions for us? We'll be more than happy to even take questions on email or Twitter. We will be posting the video of the app to our website, so you can even